4:02. Thank you everybody for being here. I'm going to lead the Pledge of Allegiance, so if everybody can stand up. And right hand over your heart and ready to begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I don't think we have anybody here to address the Personnel Commission, so I'll move on to approval of the minutes. Ladies, did you have a chance to
accept the minutes of February 16th?
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second to accept the minutes of February 16th. All in favor?
Aye.
And that's a yes for me, so motion carries 3-0. Moving on to the eligibility list. Can I, just before we make a motion, can you help me understand this, Juris? There was a merged promotional and opening?
Yes, because we've already flown the accounting assistant position prior to, we've flown it the second time because the only person on our eligibility list declined the position. And so we had to reopen it again. So with eligibility list, it's valid for a year. But if the person on that eligibility, if they decline it and we only have one person, we had to open it again and we just merged the list together. I mean,
Okay.
She's still there because I think she's the first person, Stephanie, she's interested in a full-time position. So she declined the part-time, but if we have an opening for a full-time position, she would be still part of our eligibility list.
Okay. So she is part-time where?
Oh, I'm sorry.
She's actually a clerk one right now at Longden.
Okay.
Yeah, she's a part-timer at Longden, you said?
So she's actually full-time clerk one at Longden.
Oh,
So
I
she's
see.
only interested in a full-time accounting assistant 2 position.
Okay.
And what we've opened is a part-time position and she declined it.
Okay, thank you.
So I see that Jocelyn is on there
Mhm.
on the eligibility list.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, can I get a motion, ladies, in a second, please?
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to ratify the eligibility list for accounting assistant 2. Is there any other question? All in favor, say aye.
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 And that's a yes for me, so the motion carries 3-0. Moving on to personnel order. Can I get a motion and a second to approve the personnel order 2021-13?
I move we,
Oh,
okay. Go ahead, Jamie.
okay. I make a motion to accept personnel order 2021-13.
Second.
And there's been a motion and a second to approve classified personnel order 2021-13. Is there any questions on this, ladies?
I think these are the positions we discussed
Yeah.
previously, Juris?
Correct, that's
Okay.
correct, yes.
Okay. No other questions.
All right. And all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And that's a yes for me as well. The motion carries 3-0. Can I get a motion and a second?
I move that we receive personnel order number 2021-14.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second to receive personnel order number 2021-14. And is there any discussion on this, ladies?
Okay, so Jocelyn took the job as the accounting assistant 2.
Correct, yes,
Okay.
she did, she got the job.
Okay, so this is 65% FTE. Okay.
Did she work for our district before that? No,
No,
right? Yeah.
no.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions or comments, ladies? All in favor of approving, say aye.
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 And that's a yes for me. So motion is carried 3-0. Moving on to the report from the director.
Well, hello, ladies. I have a really short report. So we have concluded our final interviews for our personnel tech position, and right now we're doing reference checks, but we're moving forward with that. We're very excited and we're happy. And thank you for helping. And we're sorry it's kind of short notice when we asked you to sit on the panel, but we were just like trying to move it along as quickly as fast as we could. So we appreciate your help. Also, we are continuing on with our compensation study. We have our benchmark positions and the districts that we are going to be comparing our districts to. There's 12 of them. And so CPS has started the process and we will keep you posted as we move along with it. Personnel department is so busy with everything that's going on. We're handling all the leaves, all just trying to get ready for when we all come back. And with that, I know Hannah has more, our interim assistant superintendent has more information about what.
Really, it's just exactly as Juris said. We are just with the transition to reopening our schools and making sure that every employee has all the correct information and understands what is required of them for each job, and just making sure that we can start getting that information out to everybody as best as possible. We are compiling all of the data that we received. We had many families respond to the survey. So we're trying to match up everybody with their options that they've requested and being able to staff those options as well. We are looking specifically for our ELP program. We want to be able to offer that in-person session during the learning. So what that would be is the distance learning is still happening in the morning, but for those families of our essential workers, or they may need the childcare for that morning session, they're able to have the student come onto campus and be in a safe environment where they can still do their learning in that morning session. And then if they want to go to the afternoon session, we're able to get them to their appropriate afternoon session. So that requires a lot of staffing on our part and figuring out who is available. There may be positions that we may need to look to hire on a temporary basis to satisfy those needs. So we're excited to be able to get that all figured out and move forward to be able to help our families as much as possible. One exciting bit of news that we are working on, it is not final, but we are looking to purchase something called Active Pure by a company called Eris, and they're high-powered. They're more than just air purifiers. They're more of air filtration systems that can kill COVID within 3 minutes of contact. And so once it's on, and it keeps the room clean. It also helps with fires and many of those other things that beyond COVID that will be really helpful for us to have in our classrooms. It helps also reduce risk of cold and flu and all of that, as we know that throughout the season, in a school, you tend to have that flu season that affects everyone. So we're excited to be able to offer that to all of our classrooms and office spaces so that we can keep everybody safe and healthy and well. So we're moving to get board support for that, and then hopefully be able to make that purchase. It is a large purchase that we'd be using our CARES Act money, or the CRISA money to help with. So.
And would that be a centralized system, or is
They're
it
actually an individual unit per room, and then the
Okay.
teacher would actually have control. There's like 5 different settings, and so it would be, and it's a very quiet machine. There's several districts that have used them. We've contacted them, and like I said, one district bought it before COVID when they were having terrible fires, and it helped so much with the fires. And then COVID came, and they were like, "Whoa, we learned that." It has the technology to actually kill the virus in the air within, 3 minutes of turning it on. So we're excited to be able to offer that to our staff and our students to keep everybody safe.
Wow, that's great. That's exciting.
I missed it, Hannah, if you already said, but when is the anticipated day for the students to return?
So we're doing like a transition rollout. So after spring break, starting April 5th, we will bring on our younger students, our TK through 3, and then the next week we'll bring on our 4, 5, and 6. In the meantime, our secondary groups, our Oak and high school, will start to be creating those cohort groups. So we've already brought on some specialized cohorts for students that were having a hard time being connected. So students that weren't attending maybe as well, and they needed some support. We've been able to start with those groups. Some of our language learner groups, we're able to give them instruction, and our students with special needs. And then we're going to expand that to, different groups. And as I was mentioning, there may be students that need enrichment. They want to move beyond what they're learning, or students that just need that social emotional interaction and want to be on the campus. So we're trying to accommodate as much as possible. We're working with our teachers union as well as our classified unions to make sure that we're offering all of our staff not only a safe environment, but also make it so that they can handle both the workload of the distance learning and the in-person, because that tends to be the issue that everybody is juggling, right? That you're either doing both at the same time, and then somebody's losing, or both are losing, or you try to separate them out, and then you want to make sure that the teachers and the staff still have the time for planning and transitioning and all of that. So those are the kinks that we're trying to work out. We've talked to a lot of districts, a lot of different districts, and some that have reopened before us have been able to share some of their difficulties and that they've come across. And so we're trying to avoid those pitfalls as much as possible, but we know we'll have to be flexible and transition as the needs arise.
Okay.
So that means
Now, I read that the seniors are going back on the 12th.
The seniors will start going back. So we are opening up one grade level, and the high school did decide to bring the seniors back, but that doesn't mean that our 9th, 10th, and 11th graders wouldn't be able to come back in small cohort groups. So like we mentioned, our freshmen, we worry about a great deal, as was mentioned. They're transitioning to a new campus. Some of them are really maybe struggling with distance learning. So if we can bring any of those students that are maybe in that DNF range and we're just not getting the credits, we can bring them on and get some interventions going on so that we can be successful by the end of the year. So that's what we're looking to do.
So at the elementary level, that doesn't necessarily mean that they'll get their teacher,
It doesn't necessarily mean it, although that's our hope and that's our goal. But again, we're working with so many different stakeholders. We have to do the very best we can to meet the needs of everyone. So like I said, we are finalizing our agreement with the teachers union to try to make it as possible and encourage as much as possible for our teachers to come back so that we can match up students with their teachers. And that is really our hope, that we can do that as much as possible. We also hope that we can offer 4 days as much as possible, right? Rather than the 2 days a week, which many of the schools have had to do, just the 2 days of hybrid. So we know that there has been criticism of our plan. We understand why that criticism exists. We also know that we have some insight into what some of the other schools have done that may seem great on the outside, but it's actually not really as great perhaps as people might think as it is. So we're learning that every family has a different need and different reasons for what they're asking for. And we totally understand that. So we're trying to serve obviously the majority, but still fill the minority group, so to speak, to give them as much as possible. That's why we want to offer these childcare support so that we can have the EOP sessions for those families that really are struggling to get back to work and they can't be at home making sure the students plugged in. If we can get those students on campuses, use some of our student support employees to make sure that they're plugged in and learning during that time, and then get them to a certificated teacher, in the afternoon, and hopefully their teacher as much as possible. That's what we're really, really hoping for. A lot of our teachers are excited to come back and work with students, and some have their own things that they have to work out as well, because again, teachers are not just teachers, they're parents, and they're caretakers of their elderly family members. So they're human beings. And so I know that the criticism we've come under, I think sometimes that's being forgotten, that we're dealing all with human beings that have different needs. And so we're trying our very, very best to make it work for as many people as possible.
Have the teachers in the district been given the vaccine, or?
Yes, we've been able to offer not just our teachers. In fact, we prioritized our CSEA members first, that many of those members that were on campus, such as our custodial staff and our food services, and then some of our staff that were on campus or slated to be on campus working with students. And then we moved in our teacher groups that were slated to come in April. So we've been able to offer an opportunity to all staff members. Many of our staff members were also able to get it through My Turn. So it sort of helped that what we were able to offer as we offered it, people said, oh, no, I got mine, give it to someone else. And so we were able to bring up the priority list very quickly. And we've been able to get, everybody the opportunity to be vaccinated.
Excellent. Thank you.
Sure.
Hannah, honestly, I can't even fathom the juggling that you all are doing.
I can't either.
I applaud and praise you all for the amount of work you're doing. I sat in on the Board of Education meeting, and Nat Smith had mentioned that he was, the night before the last week's Board of Education meeting, that he was Zooming you and Dr. Fricker at 12 midnight. And I was like, what in the world? And this is what people, community members, families don't recognize or realize, the amount of work and the concern and the safety that you all, want to implement. And I'm so grateful and thankful for all of you, for the personnel department ladies, for all of you, for all that you do. I mean, I can't, sitting here at home as a parent, I can't even fathom, really.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. And, I can tell you as a parent of a freshman, we're in Orange County and he did have the hybrid model. So he was going in 2 days a week and he was sitting on Zoom, and they were having COVID after COVID after COVID. You always get notified when there's a COVID exposure on the campus. And we got to the point where we realized, boy, it's not really worth putting him at risk when he's just sitting on Zoom in the classroom. That doesn't make sense. So, I know some of our parents are really disappointed that we didn't open up that morning session to come onto campus and do that. But I can tell you from just my own personal experience, it's not the best option either. So we're trying our very, very best to figure all those out. So I appreciate you recognizing that. And I really believe once we get this rolled out, and it's not going to be easy and it probably won't be super smooth at times, but I really think that people will feel better, start to get that normalcy. And then that'll set us up nicely for into summer and then into the next year. We plan to be open all summer to offer expanded learning. So those students that just feel like, they didn't conquer those math concepts and they really want some more help, and teachers say, yes, these students, like maybe we have a second grader who's just on the cusp of learning to read, but had they been in person, they would have been able to. We can bring in those students that want to come, have what we were sort of calling like a boot camp, a negative connotation. We want something nicer than that. So we've come up with some better names. But for our kinder and TK or our 7th graders or 8th graders, Miss Hemmons at Oak said, gosh, next year I run the risk of having 7th and 8th graders who have never set foot on my campus. Usually you have 8th graders that know the ropes and they can teach the 7th graders, but now you're going to have 7th and 8th graders who have never seen that campus. Same thing at the high school. You're going to have 9th and 10th graders and part of your 11th graders that barely set foot on that campus. So we really want to mitigate that as much as we can, hoping the surges don't hit us that are happening in Europe and across the world, and hoping our vaccines continue to roll out and we can stay safe. It would be really great if we could. We really want to get back to as much of a normal environment, whatever that normal looks like, than keeping everybody, locked up at home. And I agree, our students need it, our staff need it, our staff miss our kids, and but we all have so many worries to juggle, and it's just really, really difficult.
I'm really excited about these new air purifiers. I think that's, with the climate change situation that we're in, we're going to continue with these fires. And I think it's so important that we have something like that. I really do. Will you guys be able to have these at the offices too?
Yep, we're planning them for the district office. Some of the real small office spaces, we might have a different purifier that, because these are pretty powerful. So if you're in a small space where your door's closed a lot, it wouldn't necessarily make, we'll have it in the bigger area, but we'll be able to moderate what we're doing. But yes, everyone will have them. Every classroom, media centers, all of that. So yeah, we are very excited about that. We're trying to make the best decisions we can that are not just focused on the pandemic, so a lot of schools are spending a lot of money on those like thermometers where you walk through it, and everybody walks through it.
But those are not going to be used always. So
right, like are you ever going to use those again? Is the temperature, for lack of a better phrase, gun, little, shooting at your head, is that almost just as good? And it's really a lot cheaper. So we're trying to make those decisions, that things that we're purchasing go well beyond the pandemic. So no matter how awful the pandemic has been, we can get beyond it and have some positive to it. Canvas is one of those positives. Some of these things we've done that the pandemic made us do are going to well outlive the pandemic. So
right.
Excellent.
Yeah, is the district going to offer the COVID test?
So that's a great question too, and that has come up with the tier that we're in. It's not mandated and required. We are going to make it available. So any staff member that wants to get tested or even student will be able to have it available, but it's not going to be mandated, and we're not doing random testing or anything like that. But we have contracted with a company that will do our testing, and it may be something like where they're going to be at Cloverly from on this day from this time to this time if you want to get tested. Any student that shows up on campus and is showing signs, we would send them home and then ask them to work with their healthcare provider to either get tested or follow the necessary protocol.
Excellent. Looks like you've stepped on every mark needed.
Sometimes you step on the mark and you keep going, and sometimes something pops up and you're like, whoa, or you've got to go back 3 steps. But
you're still going to be in test mode because you have to see once the kids return how it's going to work.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Gonna take a while.
Absolutely. So
well,
we are hoping our staff, feel safe. And, like I said, we have heard from staff that some are very excited and want to come back, but there are some that have so many things to figure out. So we're trying to be as accommodating as we can, and at the same time be equitable to all of our staff members, and making sure that everybody sees the need. Unfortunately, some departments really need their people back. So, and we need to really try to offer those accommodations so we can get everybody back.
Right.
Well, the whole thing is nerve-wracking. I'm not all that excited about getting back out there again, as they say. I mean, I'd like to be able to take it a little slower.
Especially with the variants too, that could be popping up here and there.
Right.
So we just never know.
No.
We just never know. I think we're going to be in this cautious mode for quite a while.
So, I think so, and I think that's
not going away anytime soon.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Hannah.
Yeah, thanks for all that information.
Yeah,
you're very welcome. Happy to offer it. And it's hard. We are planning town hall type sessions. Also, the sites are going to be doing Q&A, and then we plan from the district office once we reopen to have a Q&A that will sort of help us with sort of explain what's going on and how it's going, but then move beyond that and talk about summer and talk about next year. We want to get a jump start so that we're not constantly living in the shadows of the what COVID has caused all of us. We want to sort of move past it and beat it down, beat it away, let it go. Right. We're done. We're over you, COVID. So
exactly.
That's our goal.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Is there any matters from you ladies from the commission?
No, I think I addressed them all to Hannah already.
And I just wanted to ask you, did you already attend your Merit Academy, your first session?
Well, there was a practice academy last Wednesday, and Saturday will be the first session.
This Saturday, okay.
Yes, this coming Saturday. And he's got like 125 people registered for this, and the most they've ever done in the past is like 56.
Exactly.
So he's got twice as many people doing the online thing as he did having it in person. So
that's incredible. That's great.
Yeah, I think so too. I think because of the distance of travel and all the rest of it, I think
that's true.
A lot easier for a lot of people.
Yes. One thing that they talked about there, and I was there, and I saw you there, Anne. One thing that they were opening up the conversation regarding the conference, Maria, the annual conference, which usually happens in February. So they opened up like a survey of are you interested in attending a conference this fall or next year? But they're planning.
I actually put next year because
next year, it's too soon, right?
To Washington, so.
And they're planning to do it at Monterey, California.
Yeah.
So
in Monterey.
Actually, this year is the 50th anniversary, and Monterey is where it started.
Exactly.
I wanted to go back to Monterey, but they're skipping the 50th anniversry and just pretending that this year has not happened, and we'll do it.
Right.
Maria,
you ready, Maria?
I'm ready.
We are all going this time.
We should all go.
And how did you like Philip Gordillo? How did you like Philip? Did he do the intro?
Yes, he did a great job.
Okay.
He did a great job.
I love
very personable.
He's great.
Very willing to help. They all shared cell phone numbers with us so that we can call anybody that we need to. So I think it's going to be a very interesting endeavor. I'm looking forward to it.
Good. That's great. Awesome. I don't have anything else. Do we need to go into closed session, Juris? We do,
yes,
right?
we do. Yes.
Can I get a motion and a second to go into closed session, please?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And that's a yes for me, so motion is carried 3-0 to go into closed session
At 4:27.
at, yes, 4:27.
Doris, do you need to go?
Yeah, yes, please.
And Hannah, you?
Yes.
Yes, please, Andy.
So do we leave this meeting and what do we do? Or you're just gonna leave?
You'll get a notification as soon as I open it right now.
Okay.
Got it. Thank you.
everybody back?
Yes.
Good, we're now,
Everybody's here. Can I get a motion and a second to reconvene to open session, please?
I
I
move,
make a motion to reconvene to regular session at 4:59.
second,
It's been moved and seconded to reconvene back to open session at 4:59. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And that's a yes for me, so it's 3-0. Motion is carried. Thank you, ladies. And there was no action taken in closed session. So thank you. I think we're able to adjourn now.
Yes.
Thank you, ladies.
Have
Thank you so
a good
much.
night.
Have a good evening,
Have a
everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Andy.
Bye.
Thank you, Andy.
No
Yes,
problem.
indeed.
Glad I can help.
Bye-bye.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody.